Good evening, traders. It is July 16th, approximately 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Just running over a couple of charts that caught my attention and wanted to break down a few names that I'm seeing, especially with the OPEX coming up at the end of this week. A couple of things that have been catching my attention. First, just looking at the overall market with the S&P 500. Zooming out from a weekly time frame, I'm noticing that we're kind of coming up to this major trend line where heading up towards that 5,700 resistance. I'm not sure if we're going to blow right through that. Obviously, the market the past couple of weeks or even the past couple of months, it's been pretty strong. But, we've got earnings coming up. They've just actually kicked off. A couple of bank earnings the past few days. Looks like big tech is starting out next week all the way through early August. So we could easily just blow right past this 5,700 region and even push up into, close to 5,800 or 5,750 as we make our way towards the end of July and early August. But definitely something I'm keeping my eye on. Definitely been trimming longs, exiting some positions the past couple of days or even past couple of weeks. So, this is just a reminder that this potentially could be a cautionary zone that we're approaching in the next couple of weeks in the short term at the least. Going over to the Qs, let's zoom in down to a 2-hour time frame. So just this. The Qs actually have been lagging for the past couple of sessions, to say the least. After this, nice little spike up that we've had the last couple of weeks or even months, we're kind of getting into this consolidation area zone where, after CPI last week, we've got a full-on rotation into the small caps, IWM and the Russell. It's clearly taken the lead in all the indexes. But, what's led us up through, the past couple of months, even dating back through April, those April lows, it's really been the big tech names. And I think most people would say it's, what they call the Mag 7 now, the big names of the Meta, the Googles, the Amazons, the Netflix, the Teslas, NVIDIAs. But lately, even NVIDIA's been fairly weak relative to the rest of the leaders. And you'll notice here on the Qs, we really haven't been able to do much the past couple of sessions, despite the SPY and SPX and especially the Russell really pushing up. I foresee there's potential caution coming up in the next couple of days in the short term, or even a week or so, especially as we approach the tech earnings. But with OPEX coming up this Friday, I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of just consolidated here the rest of the week, perhaps even as early as Friday or even next week. We may catch another leg lower to complete this ABC correction consolidation zone. So don't be surprised if we make our way towards this 480 to 485 zone or possibly a little bit higher. But this is definitely something I'm watching. So kind of staying away from the big tech names for now. But if we do get this second leg lower into this zone, there's a couple of names that I may want to pick up and keep on radar. So if that happens, I will issue another statement, another video in the coming days or weeks, and we'll take it from there. Moving on to energy, I've been fairly bullish on this past couple of weeks. And I've been issuing some notes on our Twitter. But we finally broke out of this bull flag sideways consolidation that's really started back in April or so. Just yesterday, we broke out of this 90-91 level with a nice gap up that pushed up. Today, this morning, we actually dropped down and retested it immediately with a nice bounce back to close above 92. I can see this consolidating here between this 91 to 92 level for the next several sessions, and ultimately guiding us up to this 93 to 95 target zone. Energy has been quite strong in the short term. lately, and I don't foresee that to change. I believe this is going to continue pushing up. I've called out XOM Mobile as one of our energy plays that we've been riding the past couple of sessions, and that's also been doing pretty well. But from an entire energy sector standpoint, as long as this 91, maybe even this 90 level holds, I think the next leg up is going to continue, especially now that we're also consolidating above this 50-day level. That's definitely a little bit more of a risk-on approach that I'm looking at. Speaking of ExxonMobil, just to take a quick look, we got this nice little dip to this 110, 111 area, and it's been rocketing right back up to these previous highs in this 116 zone. I think if we were to break above 116, let's just call it 117 from a few sessions ago or a few weeks ago, this should push up to the 120 to 124 zone. That's my next take on it. We've also back above this trend line resistance that's been dating back to the April highs. And as long as we continue to consolidate above this trend line, I think we are going to continue up along with a lot of our other energy names as well. Another name that also caught my attention was Apple. As you can see, Apple has really been flying the past couple of days, or past couple of weeks, I should say. Let's make this a little bit smaller. So as you can see, we've got this nice extension from December, January last year. And it kind of just rocketed straight up for months. And then from July of last year all the way through, I'd say, April of this year. That's almost a year's worth of consolidation between this 165 to 200 zone. So right around here, it's just been consolidating for almost a year. We finally broke out in early June, and it's just been nearly straight up. Every week's just been pushing, other than this one week here in June, mid-June. I foresee this continuing to go up to the 250 to 260 level. I know that we have tech earnings coming up shortly, so unless that really throws a wrench in the overall market, I think if we get any, I'd say short-term or minor dips in Apple, it's likely a buy heading towards that 250, 260 zone. So that's another name I'll be watching for any dips to potentially add on an entry there. Microsoft is another tech name that's caught my attention. It's been really weak the past couple of sessions. And even when a lot of the tech names were kind of moving up in the past few sessions, Microsoft really hasn't done much. It's actually been selling off and I'd say consolidating for the most part. You had 2 or 3 days where it had some strength from the 450 to the 468 level, but it's immediately given it all back, and it actually closed back under the 450 level. However, I do think that if we get this 440 to 444, 445 retest, which we're pretty close to already today, if we do get into this zone, this may be another name that might be worth taking a shot at the long. I do believe right around market close today, Microsoft just announced that their earnings release date will be July 30th. So that's roughly 2 weeks away. I do think that the anticipation of Microsoft earnings, as well as updates on AI and what they're going to be working towards, this 440 zone might be a decent level to buy. I personally will probably look at call options as a way to play this. Probably holding it 2 weeks out prior to July 30th. I probably won't hold through earnings, but that will be something that's on my radar. And if anything, I will shoot out an update on our Twitter account. Moving on to another name that caught my attention, which is Alibaba. So Alibaba has made a nice reversal the past couple of weeks. you know, bouncing from this 72 level all the way up through just above 80. The past couple of sessions, it's actually retraced some of that. There's an open gap here that's quite large, but it started to fill it in today. And I believe that if it holds this gap, I think that's going to be quite a bullish look, in that this will come back and at the minimum retest this 80, 81, you know, highs from a few sessions ago. And if it takes that out, we will likely be pushing up back up to into the mid 80s. But for a short-term play, I do like this as a, you know, as a buy in this mid 70s region. So definitely keep an eye out on Alibaba. Lastly, I want to talk about gold. It's one of the top metals, obviously. Gold has been on a tear. And zooming out from a monthly perspective, I don't normally play these chart patterns and so forth, but I can easily spot them. And it does look like we've kind of built out this nice cup and handle, you know, dating all the way back to 2011, you know, or even 2010, if you want to call that. You know, it's got a massive move from almost 1,000 to, you know, to 2,000. You know, the past 4 years, it's been consolidating in what I guess you want to call it a handle. And it's just rocketed since then after breaking out of this, you know, 2085 zone, let's call it. You can see it, you know, the original highs were here, and then retested it in March of 2022, then another retest of May 2023, then another test of December 23, and then ultimately this fifth time, it just broke out in March of this year. It never came back. It has never even looked back and retested, you know, this 2,000 level, let's say. As of right now, I think this is heading much higher. I don't know if it's going to go in a straight shot. I mean, from the looks of it, it looks like it will, but I wouldn't discount some type of pullback, maybe down to this 2,200 level, or at the minimum, some consolidation between 2,200 and let's say 2,500. And then ultimately for another leg higher, you know, up into this 28 to 3,000 level. So if you don't have any gold, this is, you know, probably an area that I would look towards for a longer term play. There's many ways you can play gold, whether that's, you know, physical gold or miners, junior miners, equity positions, futures, options. There's all sorts of ways. So, but if, like I said, if we do get some type of pullback, and I don't suspect we'll get a major pullback down back to this 2,000 level unless some type of massive political event or Forex event occurs. But if we get something down to this 2,300 level, I would likely look to add some more to my gold position here. And that's a wrap for this evening. If you like this market summary and update, looking forward to doing more of these on a daily and weekly basis. Hit the like button or comment below and let me know what you'd like to see, or if you have any questions. We'll talk tomorrow. Have a great evening.